Cheesecake is one of those fancy desserts that can be a little bit intimidating to make. I have the perfect no-bake cheesecake recipe. What is up, you guys? It is Karli here, and you're officially cooking with Karli. We're talking no-bake cheesecake today. The combination of ingredients is just spot on every single time. You can actually slice this no-bake cheesecake like you would a regular baked cheesecake. Let's get started on this crust. Okay, let's prepare our pan first. I have a 9-inch springform pan here. We're going to put parchment paper on the bottom and along the sides. That way we can serve it nicely, nothing gets stuck, everything is able to peel away nicely for the perfect presentation. To measure out the bottom, I actually like to do this a little bit crazy. We'll get our parchment paper and put it onto our bottom like this, and then I like to put the springform pan back together and then cut around the edges. Just like that. Now we're going to do 2 little strips for the inside, and a little secret here is to spray slightly the inside of your pan with nonstick spray, and then your parchment paper will actually stick to your pan. Our pan is prepared now. I'm going to just scoot this to the side while we make our crust. For the crust, I'm using graham crackers today. We're looking for approximately 2 cups of crumbs. This looks like we're at about 1 cup. I'm going to go grab another package of those graham crackers, blend those up. Just as a reminder too, there's a link in the description below to a blog post with a printable recipe that has all of this information in easy, printable, readable form for when you make your cheesecake too. Perfect. Exactly 2 cups. I've got 1/2 cup or 1 stick of butter here. I'm going to melt that. We're going to mix it all together to form our crust. One thing that's important to note, if you are using salted butter, it will give your crust a salty taste. To counteract that, you can add a spoonful of sugar into the crumb mixture. Sugar makes the medicine go down, the medicine go down, medicine go down. Our butter is melted. I'm going to add about half of this in and pulse again, and then keep adding a little bit more butter at a time until we get a nice wet sand consistency. You want the crumbs to be able to stick together and pack together. That way our crust won't be crumbly. We'll add a little bit more, mix it again. This is looking good. That's perfect. Let's pour this into our springform pan here that we've prepared. And now we need to pack it down. Pack it down so hard so there's no little air in there so it won't be crumbly. It'll be a nice thick crust for us. I'm going to use the bottom of just a measuring cup that the handle broke off of. As you're pressing the crust into the bottom, move the crust around so that you can press it up the sides of the pan also if you're wanting to do that with your cheesecake. While I'm pressing this into our crust, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, and do me a favor and comment below and let me know your absolute favorite your absolute favorite flavor of cheesecake is. I have quite a few different flavors of no-bake cheesecake, and I am always looking for new adaptations and new flavors to try. Okay, our crust here is nice and pressed in. to the sides and the bottom. This is going to be tossed into my freezer while we make our cheesecake filling. That is so the butter will harden up, which will harden our crust, which will make spreading that cheesecake filling in like so much easier. The crust won't be crumbling and pulling along with it. I'm gonna clean up all this stuff and bring over what we need for our cheesecake filling. First, we're going to make some fresh whipped cream using heavy cream and some granulated sugar. Say it with me, Karli, we cannot use anything but heavy cream or this recipe will not work. And then the other part of the recipe is cream cheese and some pudding mix. Just the powder, nothing else. I have cheesecake flavored pudding mix. If you don't have cheesecake flavored, vanilla will work also. Let's get to whipping this whipped cream first. Into my stand mixer, it's going 2 cups or 1 pint of heavy whipping cream and 3/4 of a cup of sugar. You can do this without a stand mixer. It just takes a little bit longer and a little bit more, muscle. The sugar is going in. Using my whisk attachment, we're going to start out slow and then gain speed as it starts to thicken. You don't want to start off full blast or else you'll be covered in heavy cream. It's important to whip your whipped cream until stiff peaks form. That means that nothing should fall over. It should stick to your spoon. When you pull out your whisk attachment, it shouldn't peak up and then droop. It should stick and stay. Okay, I'm going to transfer this whipped cream into just a separate bowl. Now let's talk about the cream cheese. The cream cheese needs to be room temperature. It needs to be soft. 3 whole blocks of it. That is a whopping 24 ounces of cream cheese. Okay, there's 1. Let's mix the cream cheese together until it's nice and smooth. Let your mixer stay on as you slowly add in your pudding mix. So keep it going, keep it being whipped. I'm about halfway through my pudding mix here, so I'm just going to quickly grab the spatula and scrape the sides to make sure everything gets mixed in evenly and thoroughly. Okay, we'll keep going. Okay, the mixture should be thick and creamy with no chunks at this point. All right, the last step, let's add in this whipped cream and then we will be all done with our filling. It's really that easy. I'm gonna stop really fast, scrape those sides, then we'll add in the rest of it. Okay, let's add in the rest of the whipped cream. Once all of your whipped cream has been added, I'm just going to bump up the speed for, 10 seconds or so, just to make sure everything is nice and creamy and smooth. And the filling is done. All right, here's our crust. It is nice and chilled. Nothing's going anywhere. Exactly what we want. Let's pour our filling into the crust, and then we'll get spreading it around. You can use the back of your spatula. I'm just going to use a flat, what is this called? An offset spatula, that's what it's called. Smooth it around, spread it, and make it as flat as we possibly can. That's another advantage of a no-bake cheesecake. There are never any cracks. which is something that tends to be a problem with baked ones. This needs to chill, preferably overnight, before we cut it. If you want it to set up faster, then overnight you can toss it into the freezer and it will just take a few hours to set up instead of the full overnight chill, which I think I'm gonna do. I think this is going back into my freezer. See you in a few hours. Our cheesecake has been chilling for a few hours now. Without further ado, let's go grab the cheesecake. Dun, 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 dun. Let's take the side of the springform pan off. Now we'll carefully peel this outer layer of parchment paper away. Now you can top this right now with your syrup and raspberries, or you could do like a chocolate ganache with fresh fruit, or really anything you want. I personally like to cut it first, slice it, and then top each slice. So let's go ahead and slice our cheesecake.
Wow!
Next time you are wanting cheesecake to take to a party, to indulge on your sweet tooth, make sure to use this recipe. No bake, you don't even have to turn on your oven. Just simple ingredients, and the result is out of this world. That was a ginormous bite. Oh. The raspberry is like perfect with that.